Recording.
So just so everyone knows, I'm not in a good position with my connection right now. So I don't know how good it will be if it's going to go in and out. So if you just bear with me. Is everyone receiving me okay right now?
Yes, I am.
I'm sorry, are you able to hear me well? Okay,
I can hear you.
okay, thank you. Tonight, um, I wanted to give some follow-up information on some of the conversations that I've had with the Sanitation Community Affairs Office. We had someone, I was able to get someone to come out to our general meeting this past Wednesday, and he gave a presentation, answered some questions, and I had a with him face to face after he was done. And, you know, I have to say that it was really surprising to me that he did not seem to have a lot of the answers I would have expected him to have. You know, I talked specifically about issues that were raised about cars having their license plates removed during the time of street cleaning and how that could be addressed. And he told me that, and I told him that members in the community believe that the community in question is not given the proper attention as opposed to other communities, and these types of issues aren't as prevalent in other communities. And he told me that that wasn't the case, that this is a very common issue, and that out of 100 calls, 70 to 75 of those calls are issues of that nature. So, okay, I said, all right, it's fine. And I asked him, so what's the remedy to address this issue then? And he goes, well, I guess, we could try to get someone out there and I don't know, I guess essentially maybe catch these people while they're maybe taking their license plates off or something to that effect. It was a very um lazy answer. And I suggested to him that wouldn't it be more beneficial or effective if, sanitation and PD coordinated and they came through the streets together with a tow truck and even removed a couple cars on days like this where these issues are present. And that would, send a message to people that this is a consequence of doing this kind of thing. And he goes, oh, yeah, well, yeah, that definitely is something that we could try to do. So I said to him, well, that seems like a pretty obvious thing to do. And, the fact that you guys have not done this on your own up until now, you know, it basically shows the community that you just don't really care to address the issue. And he then tried to take back his statement earlier about how persistent this issue is by saying, well, this kind of thing really isn't, something that. And as soon as he started saying that, I cut him off. And I said, well, you're not about to tell me this isn't, an issue that you deal with on a regular basis, because you just told me 75% of the phone calls that you get are in relation to this kind of issue. So if this is something that is majority of the problems that you guys receive, and you've had these kinds of problems for a very long time, and now here I come along and I have to give you, the idea to address this issue, it doesn't look good for you guys. And all he could do is just stare in my face. He couldn't say anything. So with all that said, and my takeaway from that meeting with that person, and he's not the guy that makes these decisions. He's just the messenger. And I think that the message is clear that, you know, the people in the positions that should be putting these, actions into effect, they obviously just don't care. That's why it hasn't happened. I mean, that's not a surprise. So in the past meetings, I've said that, I am a person that believes in more of a direct approach when it comes to addressing these issues, and that, talking and doing the same thing over and over again is not going to be a beneficial way to address the issue. And I also wanted to, since I just started, give these people a chance to do something. I think that chance was given. I think that it's clear that something else at this point needs to happen. And I think that what would be best for the community to do is to go to their doorstep and demand that they take us seriously. And I think that we should put together some sort of demonstration at the appropriate offices of the people that need to receive this message between now and within a month from now. I think that we should put this together. So that's my report. So I didn't realize my video was off the whole time. Any thoughts? Anyone? Anyone there?
Yes, I think Miss Robinson has her hand up.
Oh, okay, Ms. Robinson, please take the floor.
There was an interesting article the other day that the Sanitation Commissioner met with the Jewish people regarding sanitation pickup
I'm
and
sorry.
cleanup. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
I'm sorry. Could you start over? I wasn't able to hear you.
Okay. I was saying that I read an article that the Sanitation Commissioner met with the Jewish groups in Crown Heights regarding non-pickup of garbage, and she apologized to them. I'm just saying, they seem to be able to get a response as far as sanitation pickup and, apologies for, not picking up the garbage and so on. We don't get anything like that. I mean, the top commissioner, sanitation commissioner, meeting with the Jewish groups, where would we get that type of respect?
Well, I would just say that, that really ties into what I'm suggesting. It's sometimes to get respect, you have to demand respect. And I think that if you look at the history of the Jewish community, they have definitely demanded that they be respected. I can think back to when they were flipping vehicles over and torching them, causing civil unrest maybe 25 years ago, and they've done things like that in order to get the kind of attention and respect that they feel they deserve. Now, I'm not suggesting that that's what we need to do, but it is just what I've seen that they've done in order to get respect. And I think there's more than one way to address that and to make that happen. And I think that that's what we need to discuss and put into effect now. Hi, Hazel. I see you have your hand up.
Yes, good evening. I can't see why we can't have a meeting with her. Why can't she come to our community? She needs to come and look at it. Because I've written to her office many times and sent out the sanitation police, but they don't do anything when they're ineffective when they come. They tell you what they can't do, which is just about everything. So why can't why can't she visit our community just like we don't have any strong elected officials. We don't have anybody that really advocates for anything that we want. And I think that we need to start making these people come to our community because she can't see what it looks like from her office.
Well, I think that we should identify maybe 3 different key offices to visit, and we leave the most significant office for last. I think the first may be the Garage 17 would be the first place to stop, and we would take it on to the next place after the fact, just to get the message out that we're out and we are coming, to get the answers that you just asked the questions for. I mean, that's definitely a legitimate thing to ask. Why hasn't she visited us? I think that's what it's going to take. And I think that once this is done, then you're going to see a big change in how the sanitation interacts with us. That's what I think. See, someone has a hand up here.
I don't see why.
But Miss Martinez, you're done with your hand being raised, right?
No.
Oh, okay. You can finish.
I would not waste any time at the Garage 17. They know the situation. They get the complaints all the time. They don't even answer their telephone. I don't have time to go stand and waste in there. We need to start at the top.
Okay. All right. So, which office do you think would be the stop that we need to make then?
We need to start at we need to have them coming here, coming where we are, because they are one person and they do, and since she is in charge of it, then she needs to be here. She needs to see what we're talking about.
So
If she
essentially,
can go
we
to
need to.
anybody else, she should be coming here too.
So essentially, we need to go to her office to pick her up.
Get her up. No, she needs to take her car that they provide for her and find her way here.
I mean, that would be nice. I don't know that that's going to happen. I mean, if you guys would like me to reach out to her and see if she'd be able to do that, I can do that. But I think that we might need to get out there and speak to them directly, I think. I see we have another hand raised.
Yes, Lydia Heron Robinson again. The mayor has just made a 15% cut across the board. Sanitation, NYPD, FDNY, Board of Ed, and so on. So with that, aren't we going to get basically a statement saying we cannot provide the services we were providing due to service cuts? I mean, I'm thinking that's what the answers are going to be. Am I wrong?
I think that's a fair assessment to presume that might be coming, or that could be an excuse that's given. But regardless to what the cuts are, they're still expected to fulfill their obligations, and I don't know where those cuts are directly going to impact as far as the functionality of the services. We just know that there's going to be a cut. We don't know how that cut is going to be implemented. But whether there's a cut or not, that doesn't change anything, because with or without the cut, things weren't what they need to be anyway. So I think that we're going to have to get some people together, and we're going to have to go and have a direct conversation with the people that need to address these issues. Ms. Martinez, I see that your hand raised.
Yes, because you see, how much less than zero can we tolerate? Because we're not getting anything as it is now. So, and we know, let's be real, where those cuts are going to be. It's not going to be in those other neighborhoods. It's going to be right where we are. And I don't know what they'll be cutting, because we don't get anything as it is. And we don't demand anything either. I mean, they've been able to get away with it because we don't have anyone that really, really is pushing for anything in this community. It's nothing. I mean, we have to, or else you need to draft a letter to them and ask them what the impact is going to be and how they plan to resolve this, because it's really, there's nothing. I mean, it has to change somehow. The sanitation police have all sorts of excuses why they can't even tow or ticket those vehicles. Oh, the plate is fake, and we don't waste time writing a ticket on a fake plate. Oh, I mean, really, it has to stop. But there's no one to enforce it. The traffic enforcement, they only come to our neighborhood to take a nap. They don't do anything. Sanitation takes their breaks out, and at least where I live, that's where they take their breaks. All the trucks are lined up and they're having breakfast. Other than that, no alternate side cleaning goes on, nothing. And it's not that people don't complain, it's that nothing happens after the complaint. They give you an excuse. Cars aren't towed. They say they transferred it to the precinct because it costs more than a certain amount of money. I understand that doesn't go on in other communities, so why is it here?
Yeah. To just sit in their office and just get paid. That's what the problem is. That's what the problem is. Yeah, the only thing I can think of is what I've suggested. And I think that we should reach out to people that we know that are concerned just as we are about these issues, and see who's willing to come out and take this issue directly to the people that need to answer the questions. I think that's the most realistic way to address this. Other than that, it's just going to be a lot of pointing fingers. I mean, the sanitation guy tried to point the finger at NYPD, saying that they're the one that has to tow cars. Meanwhile, he knows that if that's going to be if you're gonna get those cars towed and they're affecting sanitation, operations, that the sanitation office has to communicate with the NYPD, the 67th precinct, for them to come out together and address the issue together. And, he knows that, but they're not doing it because they don't care. And they don't care because they don't think that we care enough. And it's not going to change unless we change. So my recommendation is that if you all know other people that are interested in participating in such an effort, if you could get some names down and just to let me know who they are, and then we can talk about when would be a good day and the place to do this. And in the meantime, I will continue to reach out to sanitation and try to see if we can get this resolved in more ways than one, but I'm not very optimistic. Does anybody agree with that, disagree, think any other ideas to address this? James Robinson? Do we have a hand up, Robinson?
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, Mr. Robinson, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I was wondering if we could reach out to other block associations and try to get this like on a united force, if you understand what I'm saying.
No, I do. I understand.
So do you think
Yeah.
that's a good outreach?
Sure. I mean, the more voices, the better. The
Well, I will be reaching out to 89th Street Block Association president. I think there are other block associations around here, but I feel just us going is not going to make a big difference. I think it has to come from other neighborhoods too, not just ours.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, I agree that, like I just said, more people definitely is a stronger force than fewer. Um, and, I think that we should do our best to gather as many people as possible. So that's definitely something that, I think that we should all work on. And, you feel free to contact me, directly, as soon as you've had the conversations with that block association or any others or any other people in particular, and as soon as you do, I can start weaving it all together, and then we can decide where we need to go and who we need to speak to. So I know that was probably a bit of information there to digest. Um, if you all want to think it over and reach out to me, that'd be fine as well. And we can see where we're at in the next week or two.
This is Hazel Martinez. Well, I think you need to take a poll of you can do one of those doodle polls or something of people's availability so that you can arrange, decide on a date.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I definitely want to know, we need to know who's going to be in. I'd be able to find out what would be the date for everybody. Yeah, which is why, we can, and within the next week or two, to put this together and we can.
So you want to do that as opposed to sending a letter requesting a date? I mean, requesting her presence.
No, 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 no. What I'm saying is I will do that as well. I will do that as
Oh,
well.
okay.
I will continue to do everything else in spite of this and see
Mm,
what can be done. But what I'm saying is I'm not optimistic in the
no.
response or the how productive that may be, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I would be happy to do that, and I hope that we get a positive, reaction and response, and we don't have to do that at all. That'd be fantastic.
Mm, mm-mm.
But I
Well,
just think that it would be um, better for us to be ready to and prepared to be in a position to take another approach if necessary. Is all I'm saying. Just to have, I guess,
okay.
a backup plan. What I'm saying. So yeah, that is definitely something I'll work on. I'm reaching out and seeing what kind of response I get. Because I mean, the sanitation guy, for example, from the community affairs office, he showed up. I spoke to them and they made it happen and he showed up. It's just that him showing up, I don't think really accomplished anything. So,
Well, he didn't really have much to say.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was nice that he came. So that was something. But yeah. Um, so that's in a nutshell everything that I have to report. Doesn't seem like there's much more anyone seems to have to add. Um, as I said, I will reach out to the offices that we discussed tonight, see what the response is, and in the meantime, my suggestion is that we consider alternate avenues uh, um, in light of that. So if there isn't anything further, I suppose that we can conclude our meeting for tonight.
No, this is Hazel Martinez. Let me say that if you have the DEP is also part of this committee. And, they've been going around the community putting up all these bioswales and rain gardens, as they want to call them. And I think that, if the city lost a lawsuit, why they have to put up so many? And it seems to me that our community is inundated with them. If they were so wonderful and going to stop the flooding, we wouldn't be getting them because we generally don't get anything. And it turns out that we do have a choice in which one we get. You don't have to get the one with the plants that's only going to wind up being a garbage pail. But I think that you should have them come and tell this committee where the plan is to be putting these things, and exactly, because you just wake up one morning and they start drilling in front of your house.
Okay. I see we have a hand raised. Mr. Robinson?
Exactly what is she talking about? I'm not clear. What was it Ms. Martinez was saying DEP does?
Ms. Martinez, would you like to elaborate?
DEP has the city of New York is installing bioswales. They're called bioswales or rain gardens. You'll see them, and they have a little dip in them on the end at the curb so that water's supposed to drain off and run into the catch basin. But they're just putting them all over our community all of a sudden. The city lost a lawsuit last year, a couple of years back, and they have to install a certain number of these things. They're supposed to, but then really what we need is to have the sewers in our community replaced or enlarged for the numbers of people that now live here, rather than this is a band-aid to me. I did not even put it where the people complain of this of flooding. So the problem we have is that they are putting in so many that all over the place, but it turns out that you actually have a choice. You don't, because really in this community, that is going to amount to a garbage can. It's where someplace people will throw their garbage, because it's a little place where they put some plants, and these EP is supposed to maintain it by cleaning it, which they do not do on a regular basis. If you see any of them on Kings Highway near East 9 in the 90s, you will see they're filled with garbage. Even one of these shopping carts. So, but it turns out they are supposed to come and speak with you, but no one has come to speak with people in the community. You just wake up and they're drilling at 7 o'clock in the morning outside of your home. And so years ago, DEP gave us flyers about it, but they haven't come back. Now they're really putting them in, and they haven't come back to say anything about it. But but you do have a choice. You can get something called an infiltration basin, which is flat as concrete, and it has a little grating on it where the water goes down, so that you don't have that little, like a tree bed kind of thing, which is an attraction for trash. So it may, depending on the size of your sidewalk, they've tested soil and all of this, and they will come and put it in install them. So you have to find out, they have a community representative, but she doesn't come unless you're complaining.
Okay, so your concern is that they're putting these catch basins in a place where it's going to create a situation where it gets filled with garbage and just creates more.
Sure. Yeah. It will. And it's not going to solve the flooding problem. That's the problem. One, the main concern. What we needed was to have the sewers in this community are old and they need to be replaced. In other communities, I see that work going on. I don't see any kind of infrastructure work in this community.
Okay. And that's DEP that's regulating
Yes.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand. Ms.
Okay.
Robinson, that clear it up for you?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
So yeah, I could definitely speak or try to get in contact with somebody there and ask them about those types of issues. The flooding problem is definitely a major problem and it's only going to get worse. So yeah, we're definitely going to need to look into that. Was there anyone else that had anything to add? All right. Well, I feel like there was a lot of information that was disseminated here tonight, and I'm going to look into the speaking with the people that we discussed and see what can be done about getting someone else to come to perhaps our next general board meeting that can be a bit more helpful in regards to these issues. And in the meantime, as I said, I think that we should consider an alternative means. And yes, we should also take attendance. So I guess we can do a roll call. So we have Hazel Martinez is present.
Yes, President.
Ms. Robinson is present. Ms. Brown is here.
Present.
Sylvester.
Present.
And there is a number here with no name. Not sure who that is.
Mr. Davis Smith.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess at this point, I'm going to put a motion in for the meeting to be adjourned. Is that second? Anybody?
Martinez, second.
Just want to thank everyone that took the time to come out tonight and definitely in the spirit that we're going to be able to get some things done here. We have gotten some response. Sorry? We've gotten some responses